Welcome to the Coast to Coast podcast, brought to you by Play Picks and the Lines, coming to you from the West Coast. Josh Lander, joined by my guy Nate Weitzer on the East Coast. And we're running into our favorite video of each and every weekday, our player props video here on this 8-game Wednesday night slate. A bit of a rough start to the week, still slightly under 500 on the week, but about 35 games over 500, still up about 35 units since January 1st. So we'll look to continue that trend. Obviously, can't stay that hot the entire time, but we will be back tonight with those. Make sure you're checking out that odds checker for those player those player props on thelines.com. We've got that checker there for you. Make sure you're getting the best juice on all the odds available from odds makers for all these player props in the NBA. And do like and subscribe to that page and check out those other couple of videos we have for you, a couple other game videos on this pretty big Wednesday night slate. And as always, if you do still need a FanDuel or DraftKings account, head to fdpicks.com or dkpicks.com and find those listings in your area, such as what we've got for tonight's player props. Nate, let's jump into it.
Yeah, rough night. I guess, but I mean, Tatum and Sadiq Bey, our boy, definitely smashed their props. So felt pretty confident about those. Feel pretty confident about our top few picks here, including a guy we talk about a lot in that game video, Heat Bucks. Bam Adebayo is going to be central to Miami's success here tonight. His prop is relatively low at 28.5 points and rebounds. When you combine them, you're getting about minus 120 or minus 125 because it's a lot safer than just the points at 18.5. Bam does it on both ends of the floor, and sometimes he'll get you there with his rebounding. But in his last 12, he's scoring 21.2 points per game, along with 10.5 rebounds, shooting 57% from the floor. His usage rate has jumped up a lot in February to 27.5% as Miami looks to feature him more. He's coming back from that thumb injury, and now he's fully healthy. He's showing his wide skill repertoire here. In just 23 minutes in the opener against Milwaukee this season, Bam went for 20 and 13 on 9 for 13 field goal shooting. Milwaukee has struggled to contain athletic centers all season with Brook Lopez out. They're giving up the 5th most rebounds per game at home. Bam has a career-high 25% rebounding rate. So along with those odds, if you agree with me that Miami should basically be considered a toss-up to win this game, you can get some really juicy doubles, player performance doubles, that is, at FanDuel. For Bam to get a double-double in a win is nearly plus 300. That seems like a very safe bet in terms of the statistical achievement. And then plus 880 for him to get 25 points in a win. And as I mentioned, he had 20 points in 23 minutes. Not that far-fetched for him to get over 25 points in a game with a 227-point total, and not far-fetched for Miami to once again put the league on notice that they belong in the ranks of contenders and should not be listed as the second-tier team when they're posting the best record in their conference.
100%. I mean, there's no way that the Heat are not listening to all this bulletin board material. I don't think I've heard them named when people are talking about the potential Eastern Conference champions. We go Sixers, we go Nets, we go Bucks, we even go Bulls before we go Heat. It seems like everybody in the media, I haven't heard the Heat thrown in to that. I mean, even the Celtics are getting more love right now as they've been one of the hottest teams. I love them playing with a chip on their shoulder. I love Bam or Jimmy playing with a chip on their shoulder, and those points and rebounds at minus 120 at DK, 20.5 for those combined. I mean, he's got 11.5 boards a game in his last 6. So the man's definitely on a tear and worth taking right now and continuing to take him. Another guy that we should definitely start taking is CJ McCollum, as he has been on a complete tear since he got to New Orleans. Not totally unpredictable, to be honest. Brandon Ingram suffered a bit in terms of his stats, but CJ continues to roll. His points right now are 24.5 at DK, and that is minus 110 on your money. You can also throw in about 5 more assists there, 29.5 points and assists combined, minus 115. I'm fine with either. Might as well take the points if you like both of them and get a little bit more juice back on your money there. They're playing tonight in a game that should have plenty of points. Last time out against SAC, there was a 235 point total, as SAC is the 29th ranked defense on the road, not surprisingly. And CJ, since he's been with the Pels, I mean, his last 6 with them, we're talking 30 points a game, almost 6 assists with an individual offensive rating of 134, right? I mean, he's gone off. He's making a statement. He's shooting 57% from the field, 49% from 3 in those 6 games. I mean, that opening debut that he had was a little bit quiet, and been with them for 7 games. They played Miami. He dropped 15, whatever. Let's throw that one out. He's definitely not playing Miami tonight against the Kings. I mean, even as a member of the Blazers in his last 7 versus Sac, we're talking 27 points a game with 5 assists to go along with that. The Kings are allowing shooting guards to score at an incredible rate. Buddy Hield wasn't exactly a defensive stopper, and now at this point they're without Tyrese Halliburton as well, a great defender. They're giving up the most points per game to shooting guards, 24 a game there. So you got to feel good about CJ getting over 24 points tonight, as he's averaging those 28 in the last 6 or so, and feel good about a lack of defense on the Kings side that you can always bank on to be there.
Yeah, some really impressive performances from him at home in these 3 home games with the Pels, because they've gotten into some close games with competitive teams, and Sacramento at least showing some moxie lately. I mean, certainly showing some shootout potential. And when you see that 235-point total, your eyebrows should raise, and you should look for opportunities on both ends to find the number one scorer. And CJ has surpassed Brandon Ingram since coming along. Yeah. For the Pelicans, he's exactly what they needed in terms of a backcourt option to complement Ingram and Valanciunas. I love just the straight points here. As long as it's a close game, you'd think he gets at least 25. In this Sixers-Knicks game, I'm not going with the big, what you call them, the bonus bros, Embiid and Harden, but I'm going with the third weapon for them, Tyrese Maxey, who continues to fit in very well, no matter who's in or out of the lineup for the Sixers. On a relatively low usage rate, his last 15 home games, averaging 18 points per game, shooting very efficient, 48, 41, 81% splits, playing 37 minutes per game because he can defend too. Right. He's got a 116.5 offensive rating in those games. Now, since adding Harden in 2 games, a 141 offensive rating, as he shot 20 for 30 from the field and scored 49 points in these 2 games. So his props are lower, though, because he's not the same kind of big name. At 16.5 points, you're getting even money. You're actually getting even money for him to get 15 points. So you can even drop it down 1 or 2 and a win for the Sixers when they're 10-point favorites at home. Love that bet there in terms of the money line. I don't see why you would go around that. And then plus 210 for him to get 20 in a win. Or I kind of like the threes a little bit more. 2 threes in a win at plus 220. In these 2 games with Harden, he's hit 2.5 threes on just 4 attempts. So that's 62%, because the defense is collapsing everywhere and he's getting these wide open looks. The quality of his opportunities are just going to skyrocket with all the attention on these 2 guys. And he's shown that he can cut, slash, shoot. He can do it all off the ball. And he should continue to thrive against the Knicks team that's struggling defensively lately.
Yeah, and we talk about how well he plays when he's got a true point guard in there and he doesn't have to be the main ball handler. Harden averaging those 14 assists in his first 2 games. We talk about in the game video there that we'd like Harden to continue to get assists, as that seems to be the trend when he comes to a new team and tries to show that he's a good teammate. He's got guys playing off him. He's passing a lot more. Maxey as well. I throws 37 minutes a game in those last 15 home games. I think those points would be higher too in those last 15, but he definitely had a bunch of production cut into by guys like Seth Curry, who was still there at the time, and obviously guys like the other guys. Well, sorry, who also went at this point for Philly. There really isn't much else on the wing, so I'm not too worried about it except
because
for Tobias.
They were more of a post thrown into the post team with Embiid, and now they're a different look with Harden spacing things out. Yeah.
They can play on the wing a lot more. Either way, Maxey in those 37 minutes is really the main point I was trying to make. And even if you see this game get out of hand tonight, which it probably will, Maxey should still be in there getting plenty of minutes as a young guy that they're still trying to get time for, right? So, lastly, going to another young guy to finish off our player props today, Nate, LaMelo Ball. We got to take a look at him. Charlotte's on the road tonight, playing a Cavs team that most people would be worried about on defense. But we are here to tell you that this is not the same Cavs team from the latter half of 2021. They've actually been a lot worse on defense lately. Most notably for Cleveland in their last 6, they're allowing a league high 42.5% from 3, which is wild to me. And that they're posting a 116.5 defensive rating in those 6 as well. So I think there's some opportunity for some Hornets to get some points tonight. LaMelo, he had a little bit of a rough stretch, but he's come back in his last 4 specifically. He's got 30. He's at a 30.5% usage rate for this team. And like we said, in his last couple, back up to about 20.5 a game on 50-40 splits. Really like the fact that he's shooting about 3.5, making 3.5 threes a game on about 7.5 attempts in those last 2 as well. So I think there's some opportunity for him to really up that. Charlotte on the road also definitely is a bit more. They're definitely a lot more pace, plenty more scoring, about 124 points a game in their last 6 on the road, and allowing 123. Their pace is up to a blistering about 104 points possessions per game there. So I think we're talking about an opportunity for a lot of points tonight. There's value there with Cleveland still being a little bit overvalued on defense as they've been a lot worse lately. And Melo, is ready to continue chucking those threes and making them at a clip of at least 3. And that, I didn't mention it yet, but we also at the points we like 19.5. We also like the over 2.5 3-pointers made a lot to get you plus 106 on your money there at FanDuel.
Yeah, I mean, the key for Cleveland is, will Darius Garland be able to play? Without him on the season, they have a 112 defensive rating, which is way up from their normal, and they suffer on the perimeter. He's been he's in and out of the lineup. That's why they're so bad on the perimeter in their last 6. They welcome Lauri Markkanen back, which has helped their offense, but is not going to help their defense. No Karis LeVert or Rondo either tonight. So we might see some really clunky lineups from Cleveland at times with Cedi Osman, Kevin Love, and Markkanen playing. They're at least 2 of the 3 guys are going to be out there, and LaMelo should hunt them, get himself shots, get other guys shots. I like the fact that he's continuing to hoist from deep. Even though he was slumping before getting 24 at Milwaukee. And in those 6 road games, you mentioned the Hornets exploding. LaMelo's getting 28 points per game and hitting nearly 4 threes at a 51% clip in those 6 road games. So love these props here. I would definitely hit both of them with confidence.
Yeah, that feels right for sure. So that is all the time we have for you in this one. Make sure you are liked and subscribed to that page and check out those other couple videos we have for you on this 8-game Wednesday night slate. And until we see you next, happy betting.